How you doing out there? Are you being productive? That's what we're going to be talking about today. We've got myself and a past guest from the UK on today. We're going to be talking about how to be super productive at home. This is something that I've had to learn over my career. I didn't have to learn it recently. I always wanted to work from home ever since I was a little sales rep. Why? Because I always found it ridiculous to be getting into a car to drive to an office. And so many times I worked completely remote. There was only one time where the company's headquarters was where I lived. So I was traveling to this like shared office type thing and trying to be productive there. And it helps because it's a separate space. There's a start and a stop time to it. You can shut the door in most cases. And it is pretty effective. But at home, depending on your living situation, who you live with, pets, kids, partners, roommates, whatever it is, we have to become hyper-focused. We have to have a separate space. We have to find out what works for us. We have to have our to-do list. We have to stay focused, but still separate work from home life because we still need to rest. We still need to recover, eat, and stay focused. We're in sales. And I got to say congratulations to the people who are listening to this. I talk to a lot of podcasters in different spaces, and they're telling me their downloads are way down. And I go, well, why? Why do you think that is? And I think people are scared. Salespeople, my downloads are up. Thank God for you folks telling everybody about the podcast. I think it's because salespeople have to step up. A lot of us are on commission only, meaning we don't get any income unless we sell something. We help people. And right now, a lot of people just panic. And panicking doesn't serve its real purpose. Its purpose is to keep us alive. And we should do that. And we all know how not to get this, right? They tell you exactly what you do to not get it. But people don't want to do that. And I understand, but that's the risk we take in life. If you don't want to get in a car accident, don't sit in a car. That's the only 100% way of not doing it. And I don't want to get into what's right and what's wrong here. I want to get into what I've seen work for me and for others and what I've seen not work. If you're an introvert, working from home might be a natural extension of your life. If you're an extrovert, you might have a challenge with it. You might have to come up with ways of connecting with other people. And hopefully you're doing that in sales anyway. Let's get into the interview. I'll sum up some of the things that have worked for me. Building a list in the morning. It doesn't have to have anything more than one thing on it. And you can always add things to it. And you can prioritize things off it. And you shouldn't spend more than 10 minutes, 20 minutes building your list. And it shouldn't be hard. But the list helps you focus on getting the things that need to get done, instead of just being busy, just being distracted. Make sure you turn the TV off. If your music distracts you, turn it off. If it helps you, turn it on. You'll know the difference pretty quickly. Build in a couple of breaks. Build in a little gratitude time. Maybe a little exercise time. And a time to manage your state and understand that you control how you feel. You can let your subconscious control how you feel if you want. But all you have to do is stand up, look at the sky or look at the ceiling, and put a big smile, and you can change your state instantly. Let's get into the interview. I want to update at the end everybody who's in the courses or wants to get in the courses. Now's the time. As I promised, I will hold the pricing to the end of April, but I'm not sure I can hold it any longer than that. The demand's been pretty high, so it's taking up a lot of my time. I'm pretty much full time on it now. So between the one-on-ones, the office hours, and answering people's questions. So I really want people to take advantage of it who have the time. I think you have the time. Do you have the money? If you don't take it. I don't want your money if you can't afford it. But if you can, do it. Take action. And I want you to think, sales, why don't we treat it like medicine and law, where it's like a practice, where you become good at it and great at it over the years. Now, you can take your bar course when you become a lawyer after 3 years, and if you pass it, you're now an official lawyer. Doesn't mean you're going to win every case. Doesn't going to mean you win any case. Doesn't mean you really know what to do in a court of law. That's when the education begins, and it takes decades to become great at it. And it's confined. It's defined. There's laws. Sales has that same element, but it's undefined. Every company, every customer, every person is a little bit different. So sales, I think it's really complicated. There's just as much money in it if you play it right. So let's get into the interview. I'll sum up the course at the end. Hey, Jeff, welcome back to the show. Give us a little update on yourself.
Thank you, Brian. It's good to be back. It's been, what, 3 months? 3 months since we last spoke, I think, and we were talking about how to get on with people and how to talk to people and how to go out and see people, and then COVID-19 came along.
Yeah.
So it's interesting times, sir.
And you've worked at home before.
Some might say that. I mean, our favourite saying, when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. 24 years, when to turn around to somebody and say, I work from home, elicited oh, that's easy. That is so easy, working from home. That's going to be... I used to call my office, when I first did it, in 1998, I used to call my office Eastern Sales Office, so that I didn't put home on there. Because it's got that thing, isn't it? It's got that thing. You're sitting in front of the television. You're playing with your dog. You're feeding yourself donuts all day. It's difficult. It is difficult. And I wanted to, hopefully today, have a little chat with you about a lot of people that are now being asked to please sit at home and work.
Yeah.
And what I see are the issues of, and some of the problems that people might have. I know that when I first sat at home to work in 1998, I would come out to I had a bedroom then in the house that I used to live in. I had a little bedroom, and I'd come into the bedroom and I'd shut the door and I'd sit at the sit at the screen and I'd go, send me an email. Send me an email, please. And I used to sit there and sit there and sit there, waiting and waiting and get more and more stressed out. And I wouldn't take a break. My back would get bad. I wouldn't go for a walk. I wouldn't do anything. Because in those days, working from home as a salesman, which, let's face it, is the easiest job in the world anyway, really had a stigma about it. It was really, you're not doing a full day's work. So rush forward 23 years, and I'm now standing in my office, and I say standing because I have what is called a standing desk, and that standing desk I've had for nearly 3 years now, and I've lost a bit of weight. So in American language, I've lost sort of, I suppose, 10, 15 pounds. In European language, I've lost 6-7 kilos, and in the UK, I've lost a stone. Yeah. So it's something that makes me, I stand here, I do my thing, and I work from home. And I think a lot of people are now going to be told, my company, Pelco, where I work, great emails coming out from the team, great communication. We're all very, very worried about this COVID-19 thing. It's going to be with us for a few weeks yet, maybe a bit longer. I sounded like Trump then, God. And we got to the situation where, for the first time, somebody who is used to having those water cooler moments is going to be asked to sit down and work from home. We've got a guy that works for us. Great guy, our biz manager, absolutely fantastic. But he's working from home for the first time. And he's sitting down and he's got his computer on his coffee table and he's working at home and he's got all the audio and everything and he's blurring out the background, but he's still struggling. Because I think people, the boss knows when you log on. Let's face it, the boss knows that you're logging on. So I think it's a question of what you do normally at work, just do at home. Yeah. If you want to go for a cup of coffee, go and have a cup of coffee. If you want to have a cup of tea, have it.
And what worked for you? What type of structure, what type of routine do you have?
Okay, so I am a morning person, okay? I am not somebody that likes, I'm not a 7-8 o'clock at night, let's do stuff person. I'm a morning person. So what I try and do is I try and do a lot of work in the morning. So I sometimes get up really early. and I sit with Kevin and Perry on my lap in the lounge, and we've all got our lovely little mobile phones these days, and I go through the emails that have come in overnight on that, and then about 8:30, 8:45, I come out to my office, and it's 10 paces up the garden. It's not a big thing, but because I'm coming to work, I can close that door. There's no distractions from outside. I'm coming to work. So I've got a mobile phone, obviously. I charge it wirelessly. I have a pair of earphones, which we tried to get working just now. I have some earphones, which are linked to the phone. And the thing I like about the standing desk is it gives me so much freedom.
Yeah.
It means I walk up and down my office making my call. And they often say that people, when they walk around, make better decisions. I mean, you do your podcast things and you're going up the road with your selfie stick. But the other thing I also do is I exercise.
In the morning?
So I either go bike riding on that, or if it's raining, because no one's paying me to go bike riding, I use my rower, and I've got a rowing machine that I row, and I do 20 minutes on my rower. The other thing also, this is the sad bit now, I'm going to take the camera if I may. So I have that down there. Now that's a push-up board thing, and there's my chair that I never really ever use. But I do regular exercise.
Yeah.
Because I think the biggest mistake I made when I first worked from home was I sat at the desk for 8 hours. And then when I got this standing desk, I stood at it for the first day all day. And the next day I couldn't walk. Absolutely finished me. So I now got to the other side. I've climbed that hill. So I've now got my chair, which I hardly ever use, and I feel guilty sitting in it. But the desk goes up and down just by pushing the button. It's so easy, even I managed to put it together. But I think the other thing you've got to do as well, you mustn't be overwhelmed by stuff. I think you've got to do that task thing. I've got my little day, I call it going analog when I write stuff down. So I've got my little cards, my contacts of cards here, and I've got some little fiddly things that I can fiddle with if I want to fiddle with stuff while I talk on the phone. But I think it helps you to focus. Write a list in the morning of what you want to achieve.
Yeah, I think that's key.
Write that list. There's no point having it on your computer.
Right.
Let's go old school. Let's go analog. Get a pen. Write the list. And don't be worried if you don't complete it.
And I think people get that wrong, because I think people put like 20 or 30 things on the list instead of 3 to 5.
Yeah.
You can always add more, but not doing it.
Right. Well, the other week when you did one of your talks and you said about the neighbours, I thought after I'd commented on it, I thought, I wish I'd said this. What I thought about saying was, when you move into a neighbourhood, you haven't got to get on with all of your neighbours, have you?
Right. Yeah.
You get on with some of them.
Yeah.
You don't get on with all of them. This guy living here, known him 25 years, great guy. This guy living here, okay. So I say the same about when I'm working from home. If I'm working from home, I've got my list, I talk to people, and I'm also very lucky. There's a little core group of 3 of us that run the south of the UK, and Pilco are very, very supportive. I'll put that, they're the American company, very, very supportive of how they want to run their people. But I've got 3 of us. There's my contracts manager, me, another business development guy, and we get together 3 times a week, just for 20 minutes, just to chat. And another thing that you should do that I've done, again, this friendship has gone on for years. Find somebody not in your business that you can phone up and talk to.
Yeah. Because
the worst thing, if you and I work for each other, and it's, oh, Brian, did you see what Tony did? No, it just goes blip, 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 and you just go
downward spiral.
Down. Yeah. You've got to look at yourself. Those big cranes they have doing the construction, they pull themselves up by pulling on their shoelaces, and that's what you have to do. You've got to be motivated. We have a mission statement where I live, and I've had it made, and it's stuck on the wall. But here's a picture of me sailing my boat around the Isle of Wight, and that makes me feel, let's get on with it. And I think from a sales point of view as well, any salesman that works from home, because I'm based, my contract says you work from home, but any salesman that goes out 5 days a week who works from home is going to fail. So the working from home thing, I often say to my boss, I want to do appointments Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, because Monday and a Friday, I want to be preparing myself Monday and finishing it all up on Friday.
Yep.
Don't feel just because you work from home, you've got to go out. Unfortunately, at the moment, we can't go out. We've got to stay at home.
Yeah. And do you keep a normal start and stop time?
I try to. I try to finish around about. I'm not going to tell you this one. No, I finish. I try to
around 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
when the pub opens.
Yeah, I'm not adding 4 hours for anybody. I try to finish about 4, 4:30, to be blunt, because the one thing that everybody has got that they didn't have 23 years ago is they've got a decent mobile phone.
That's it. And what's your living situation? Do you have a spouse or kids or pets?
I have. So my wife has horses. So every morning while she's not at, my wife also works for the National Health Service. So she's going through all sorts of stuff at the moment with what's going on over here and around the world, obviously. And we walk a mile up the road each way every morning to make sure the horses are okay. But the house is 10, 20 meters away, back door. And I'm just very lucky that I've got this space, that I've got reflective vinyl on the door. So you have to sort of look through it like that to see if what I'm doing. And I think you have to keep them separate. When I walk out of here, I'm closed.
Yeah. And how do you keep distractions away? Social media, TV, YouTube? Right.
So over here, which you can't see, is my personal laptop.
Okay. You separate it.
Separate it out. I have a switch. I can switch between the two screens if I want to. If you went onto my laptop and you did a forensic search on it, there would only be business. Stop it. There would only be business. Hey, I know what you're saying. There would only be business. The only bad stuff I've really got on there is your podcast. So
that's the best stuff.
There'll be dodgy stuff. But no, you have to separate them. You have to do that.
Yeah.
You have to do it. The minute I see people with their company laptops and open up their company laptop and it's got a picture of their family on it, okay, fine. But I'm sorry, mate. That's work. This is play.
Yeah.
That's work. This is play. You have to keep it separate. My phone. So in 1990, I was given a mobile phone number, and I was told by the person who gave me that mobile phone number in 1990, in years to come, we will live on these devices. So I've never since 1990 changed my mobile phone number. So when I go to a company, this is my mobile phone number. All I want you to give me is your laptop. I'll provide the office.
And I, like you I've worked from home probably about 20 years.
Yeah.
And worked for myself for probably the last 7 or 8. How do you turn it off though? Because that's the other hard part where it's like, for me, most days it's from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep.
Yeah. So a lot of turning off is who you work for.
Well, I work for me. Do you think you work for yourself or do you feel like you work for someone else?
I work for the company. I work for me because I have a number. I've got a number to do. And touch wood, I've never failed that number in 20 years that I've been working for various companies. But the company I work for now is very, what I would call, I'd use the word friendly, but I know if it comes to it, they're not, if you know what I mean. So I'd use the word friendly, they're caring. I've worked for people that aren't caring, and that's when you go, oh God, I should have done that email. Oh, I should have, and that's when you worry. That's when you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking, I wonder if that email's coming. And so I try to I do a lot of sailing. I do a lot of sailing on my boat, and I sail my boat in the winter. I ride my bike. Sorry, I sail my boat in the summer. I ride my bike in the winter. I watch some television, and I just have to switch off. But because this is my private number, at 8 o'clock every night, only my favourite people can ring me.
Yeah. And do you have two phones or you just have
No,
your,
I've got one phone,
right? That's
one
smart.
phone, one number. But
Yeah.
at 8 o'clock at night until 6 o'clock in the morning, if you're not on my favourite list, you don't get through. You're going to test it. Oh God, put them on the list. So
Hey, you're not picking up.
when I'm in a hotel on business, I keep it on 24 hours a day. But
Yeah.
the friend thing still kicks in. But then what happens? I was in a hotel once. The guy went, Jeff, I couldn't get you at 8 o'clock last night. No, I had my friends only, and you're not on that list
Yeah.
because you work. And I have to separate it. If you don't separate it, you go mad. And I say to people that are working from home, if you've got to work, I mean, there's a big thing. A big thing happened on LinkedIn the other day about all of a sudden you've got this stuff on LinkedIn about that perfect office setup, this, that, and the other. No. What suits you? I couldn't work in my kitchen. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Dogs would drive me crazy. As soon as anybody walks past the window, the dogs go mad. So this is nice and quiet. It's my little bit of solitude, but it's my business place. You know, my wife more or less knocks on the door before she comes in here. And that to me is important because that has to be the way. And then of course you get people setting stuff up. I'm going to move the camera again. You get people setting stuff up and they set it up like that.
Right. Yeah.
They set it up like that. And you're going, now listen here, Brian, what I want you to do is I want you to go and do your number. And if you don't do your number, Brian, I'm sorry, we're going to have to fire you. And I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that. I've actually got to the stage now where I say to people, could you move your camera up a little bit, please? And the other day I was talking to a guy and he was literally like that. He was like that.
And what I find weird is, you know, especially for salespeople, that they haven't tried to work at home before. I mean, do you really go home and not do anything?
Exactly. Do you finish your call at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, get home at 4 and go, forget that then?
Yeah.
No,
because, you know, I have the luxury of living at home, and I have the top floor has 2 bedrooms and a loft.
Nice.
But they're all offices.
Yeah.
Right? I've got iMacs everywhere. I got a standing desk, and I'd love to ask, how long did it take to get used to the standing desk?
I actually did 3 articles on LinkedIn called Standing Desk Part 1, Standing Desk Part 2, and Standing Desk Part 3. And it took me about 3 months to get used to it.
Yeah.
Don't expect to walk up to your standing desk on Monday and go, this is going to be great. You will, at the end of the day, you will be struggling. You will be dead on your feet. And then, but because I can lock it all up here, I haven't got to worry. So I was talking to one of the guys. So we can now do demos. So I can get you through to my contracts guy, and he can do a demo for you of our system live. We do it on Zoom. It is a thing of beauty. But he lives in a flat. And I said to him, so what do you do with that stuff at night? Oh, it just stays out. Now, I said to him, right, you've got to start putting it away because we've been locked up in, as I say, my wife works for the National Health Service. So whilst the UK has been locked up for 2 weeks, this is my 3rd week because she told me, you're not going anywhere. Yeah. So, and the thought of having this or a laptop or something in my house, a work laptop, oh, it doesn't even bear thinking about. You've got to put it away, cover it up with a box, put it in your laptop bag, put it somewhere where you'd normally put it if you weren't working from home. But if you are working from home, make it as comfortable as possible. There's a guy the other day, loads of backlight, you know, is anybody there? And he was quite clearly sitting on his settee. Then his dog jumped up on his lap. It's not conducive, is it? It's not really nice.
Right. And that's hard because at one time I did have a couple of cats and they were very hard. The configuration was hard to keep them out because even if you shut the door, they were very loud.
Yeah. Well, we've got two Chihuahuas.
Yeah.
And Kevin is with Kevin and Perry, the Chihuahuas. They're lovely, beautiful dogs, but they're noisy. So
right, you keep them separate.
Yeah, the door gets shut and that's it. I mean, Mandy's inside the house now. She's on vacation this week. She's in the house, back door's shut, dogs are in, and that's it.
Right.
Simple.
Because nothing screams unprofessional
No,
like
no,
an
oh,
animal
don't,
barking or crying or.
don't. I don't even mind kids so much. You know, I don't
Yeah.
even mind, because you know what? You know what? Here's a secret. When you're talking to somebody and he's got his kids with him, you can say to them, "Oh, hello, Charlie. Do you know you've got the best dad in the world?"
There you
And of
go.
course, the guy's
Yeah.
going, "Yeah, I am."
It's a
But that's
natural
all.
conversation point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how about like breaks so you don't get burnt out and just, you
I
know,
take okay, so I do some push-ups, I do some physical exercise, but I will go in and I will make a coffee. I will make it in the kitchen. I might take my phone with me. I
yeah,
might be on a phone call because I don't find, like you, this is second nature to us now. An earpiece and a
right. Yeah.
earpiece and a phone is second nature. The biggest thing you've got to watch out with wireless earpieces, of course, is you walk away and all of a sudden you go past that 10 meters and you can't
You
hear them.
lose it. Yeah.
But no, I make sure that I take a break. I do not eat at my desk.
Right. Good idea.
I do
Yeah.
not eat at my desk. I do not eat at my desk. You know, that is the most crazy thing that ever got invented. So I take a lunch break. I take a proper lunch, you know, even if it's only half an hour, you know, 20 minutes, half an hour. I'm very lucky that I live down by the coast. So back in the early days when I was working at home, I thought, I've got to go for a walk. I went for a walk. My boss rang me. "Jeff, I can hear seagulls in the background." "Yes, because I'm going for a walk." "What, in company time?" Whereas
Well,
now, it's
yeah.
accepted. It's accepted. You know, my boss says to me, I don't expect anybody to be in front of their desks. You know, you are my 6th conference call today, and it started at 8:30 this morning. You're
Well,
my last one.
that's it. As salespeople, we got to remember it's the effectiveness.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yes, exactly.
And the craziness that I had was I was a remote rep, meaning the
Yeah.
office I went to had
Yeah.
at best one other company person there
Yeah.
occasionally. So I was literally going there for a room, a
Yes.
phone, and an
Yes.
internet connection. So you have a phone in your pocket, you have an
Yeah.
internet connection everywhere,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yes.
driving easily a half hour through traffic,
Oh, yes.
stressful,
Yes.
and probably 45 minutes coming home the way the traffic
Yeah.
went.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to say, why am I doing this?
Absolutely. Oh God, yeah.
There's
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
good hour, hour and a half of
Yeah.
productivity and
Yeah.
aggravation. And, plus you got to get dressed a certain way,
Yeah.
to
Home
get lunch
workers.
is more
Yeah.
complicated.
Home workers are the most productive people on the planet because you get a little bit of guilt about not doing the email, which is always a good thing to keep. And I still get that. I
Yeah.
still look at an email and I think, if I'm inside at 5:30 and an email pops out, I go, I'm just going to pop out to the office for a second if I deem it necessary to answer it. And then the other thing you get is you get to do what you need to do. So you'll never see me with a Death Head Metallica tour 1935 on it. It's always going to be a neutral clothes that I wear. So, and I think that's important as well. And again, the placement of the screen and how you talk to people and how you don't talk to people. And I get very conscious that I'm not looking at the camera now. I'm looking at you on the screen. Don't worry about that because we're all doing that. That's how it
Right.
works.
It is crazy because I remember one time where I was switching jobs. The day I started at the new job, the new computer was on my doorstep in the morning.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
took the new one out, put the old one in the new box, and shipped it back to my. But my trick was
Yeah, go
I
on.
never used company hardware.
Yes.
I would
Yes.
take it because you know what they do? Like if there's a layoff or something, they have this remote scrape.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes.
all of a sudden, if you didn't back it up, you lost everything if you didn't put
Absolutely.
it somewhere else.
Well, Pelco like the bring your own device. So the laptops, they're all company, which is fine. We've got a network, we've got to do security. But, that's my lovely Samsung S10. So, it's a thing of beauty, S20 rather, thing of beauty.
And you
But
keep the same phone number, and you probably get calls from old customers.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I mean, when I worked for Verint, the big American IP company, They offered me $10,000 for that phone number in 2003. And I said, well, if it's worth $10,000 to you, what's it worth to me?
Exactly.
And I do. I back it up in 3 different places. And, you know, it's Google, it's Outlook, and it's somewhere else.
Yes.
And that's what matters. It's come to work, you know, we're going through this horrible COVID thing. Yeah. The way the world works is about to change, because all of a sudden, all of these guys are going to be sat in the office going, well, hold on a minute. All of our guys, our admin people, they all work from home. Why have we got all this office space? Let's turn it into flats or apartments.
Well, plus it takes away all those distractions and office politics and pecking order and backstabbing.
Yeah. When I go to the office, it's a thing of beauty to see, but I go to the office and I can't do what I normally do. And so when I join a company, I say to them, you know, I work from home, but also say the easiest way for me to fail is to upset you guys.
And it's as a rep, it's pretty easy to do if you're there 8 to 10 hours, right? Yeah. Because you're in a bad mood, you're hyper focused. They want to have a birthday party, and you're like, I don't have time. I want to party with my friends. And,
exactly. Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
To spend half an hour, you know, wishing you happy birthday. It's nice, but it's not productive.
No, it's not. And I think people are going to. I think we're going to come out of this with a lot more people working from home. A lot more people working from home. Yeah. And I think the whole thing. So people that are now working from home, don't be scared. Embrace it.
Yes.
I'm on LinkedIn. You can PM me. If anybody out there is having issues, PM me, and we'll have a chat.
Cool. Appreciate your time today. And where can they find you? On LinkedIn?
Find me on LinkedIn, Jeff Gritton on LinkedIn. My phone number's on there. And if you're going to go on LinkedIn, put your phone number on your LinkedIn, on your contact details. Phone number's there, email's there. PM me. If you want to talk, we'll have a talk. And maybe in the next 3 months, Brian, hopefully we'll do this again and about another subject, eh?
I hope those tips and strategies will help you be more effective when you're working from home. To update everybody on the courses, I have committed to keeping the prices the same till the end of April. So if you're interested, go to b2brevenue.com. You can schedule a time to talk, or you just check them out or sign up. Talk to your manager. I put a sample email in the show notes. Just swipe up and you'll see it there. Cut and paste it, put it in an email, and tell your manager, hey, this is a perfect time to brush up on your skills, to come up with new ways of getting the meeting, starting those conversations. It's changed, hasn't it? But I see everybody else talking about the same thing, empathy, sympathy. Okay, yeah, then what? Yeah, no strategy after that, huh? And, you know, people who've been teaching the same stuff for 20 years. Well, the world has changed, and it's going to change some more pretty quick. And the people who are good at this are going to survive. And the people who are not so good at it are going to starve. And how do you become better at it? You listen to what other people are doing. You understand both the science and the art of it. You apply what's been working for me and for other people for a long time. The channels have changed. The timing has changed. The approach has slightly changed. But what works with people, understanding what they care about and talking about what they care about, how to build organic conversations that turn into business conversations. Think of sales as a practice, as a performance profession. If you have the wrong mindset of it being binary, I either know how to sell or I don't, well, guess what? You pass the bar exam, but you haven't won any cases and you don't get paid. Law, much like sales, there's a lot of contingency work out there, meaning you only get paid if you win. And in law, it's 50-50. In sales, it's not so easy. And it's not as confined. There's not a judge, right? There's very few rules. There are some, and you need to learn them. And you need to have a plan, a strategy. What does a lawyer do before a case? They have every question outlined. And every question has a purpose and builds on top of each other. Sounds a little hard, but it isn't once you've built your formula, your silver bullet, your system. And that's what you get with the course. Somebody asked me today, it's like, what what kind of guarantee can you offer? Well, a guarantee that if you apply this, you're going to increase your win rate. You're going to increase the use of your time. You're going to increase your income. Now, but that's not, I don't have control over what you do. I can show you, I can help you, I can give you feedback, encouragement, and corrections and optimizations, but you still need to do it. And that's the part of sales that we all have to understand. But doing it smart, doing it better is where the money is, not just doing more of it. We run out of time at midnight. It's the next day in 1 second. So we all get the same amount of time. It's how we spend that time that's the differentiator. How do the courses work? They're super easy. You get access to it for a year. You can pay all at once or in 12 monthly payments. It's not a membership. No matter how much you want to make it a membership, it's not a membership. It's 12 monthly payments. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. Don't waste my time or yours. I want serious reps in this that really want to take their game to the next level, want to talk about their wins, their losses, want to hear from other people, not the know-it-alls. What do the courses include? It includes not just the content, which is a ton of it. There's about an hour of fresh content minimum put into each course each week. So there's plenty of examples, plenty of use cases, plenty of consultations, one-on-ones, office hours. Office hours is an hour meetup every other Friday. It's Q&A, case study-based discussion community. Wherever the community wants to take it, I take it. And if I kind of like spur the conversations going through some of the case studies that I've seen throughout the last 2 weeks since the last office hours. And I record it and put it in the course so you never miss anything. Same is true with the one-on-ones. You get one-on-one coaching consultation with me, no flunky, me, no failed SDR or some, personal branding expert, me, career sales guy, to talk through your particular use cases and come up with answers and approaches for you. It's recorded, put back on the course. There's hundreds of them in there. So you get to see how other people are doing it. From soup to nuts, from finding the people to getting that conversation started, from getting that conversation started all the way through closing the deal and getting the big commission check. Biggest deals in the company's history. That's it. Now's the time. Now you have the time. Do you have the money? You know if you have it or not. It'll pay for itself within a month. Or do you have the energy? Are you willing to spend an hour or two a week on you? Developing your skill, becoming the best rep you can be. Time is going to go by. It's not going to wait for anybody. They didn't pause time. They just paused everything but time. Take advantage of this opportunity. Go to b2brevenue.com. You can sign up right there. Schedule a time if you want to talk through. I get 15-minute conversations. Please show up, okay? Put your questions in the invite so I can be prepared to answer them. I put a frequently asked questions both on my website and in the show notes, where answers probably 95% of the questions that people get to ask me, how it works, how long it lasts, which course is right for you. Which problem do you have most right now? Is it getting into new accounts? Then start the conversation, get the meetings, of course, for you. Is your pipeline big but stalled, not moving very fast? Closing the complex sale is the course for you. Those are the two key ones. And if you buy either of them in April, I throw in the Questions That Sell course. So that'll probably stop at the end of April as well. We'll see you next time. Listen to the other two podcasts. What is it? Brutally honest sales questions, brutally honest answers, and the B2B Revenue Leadership Show. If you sell into the federal government in any way, make sure you listen to this week's episode with Kevin Jans, where we talk about the corporate credit cards. It's up to $20K right now that they need no approval. Just put it on the card. And they get contract letters. It's eased up. So if you sell into the federal government, make sure you listen to that one so that you can maximize helping the government and helping yourself this quarter. We'll see you next time.